Kids, usually I show you a story about my life and then give you the lesson I learned through the process. But this time, it's a little different. I'm gonna bring you along for the ride. First, you need some context. I'm terrible at making transitions in my life, whether that's moving from one task to another, commuting from home to the city, or even just waiting between breakfast and lunch. The moment there's any kind of space, I immediately try to fill it in with whatever's around. New hobby, new goal, more productivity, more optimization. I honestly think I have the inability to sit in transition. And as I get older and everything in my daily life is constantly changing, I find myself putting projects I wanted to do on the back burner. But for you, my children, to understand why, we need to go back 2 weeks from today. Okay, where do I start? Kids, if you don't already know, I run a company. And as the owner of this company, I have a bunch of stuff to do every day. The list is almost never ending. But for the first time in the last 3 years that the company's been open, I've run out of things to do. When I turned 25, I wondered if and when this would happen. Being an adult with free time is almost a luxury, and most of us, when we do get some time to ourselves, end up wasting it on the things that don't replenish us, but keep the clock ticking nevertheless. And of course, we have our hobbies. Me personally, I picked up figure skating, but I honestly can't remember the last time I did something just to try it, and not because it was scheduled in my calendar 2 months in advance. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but it's my life. But I wanted to take this time to just be a little bit more spontaneous with the things I do and take a moment to reflect.
I spend most of my time viewing what I want from the outside. I comb it over like it's the scene of a crime. The only guilty I find staring back.
I've been thinking a lot about slowing down. We tend to get so caught up with every new milestone that we forget to appreciate the path we've walked all this way. You see, when you cross things off your to-do list enough times, you eventually reach a point where there's nothing left to cross off. Sure, there's still things to be done, but they're usually time-gated at that point, aka, you gotta wait to start. That period of waiting is probably the most excruciating thing to go through. The days blend into each other, you go about your routines, and end up constantly checking the calendar just to watch the time go by. It wouldn't be too far off to say it's like watching paint dry. And frankly, it's driving me insane. I once heard that patience is just figuring out what to do in the meantime. You'll go through periods of your life where waiting is the test, and learning to occupy yourself without wasting your time is a skill I feel is lost. We spend a third of our day on our screens, and as the world goes more digital, I think holding on to something analog is the remedy.
So, right now I'm just trying to add a little bit of character to my home office because at the moment, my whiteboard is the only thing that sits on this wall, and sometimes it can feel a little bit dull. So I thrifted a couple of frames, and right now I'm just trying to find an orientation that I like for where they're going. I think I might change it up a little bit, but normally when I decorate any kind of space, I usually just throw everything that's in there out, repaint the walls, and try to furnish it in a whole other aesthetic all at the same time. But this time I'm trying to practice a little bit of more self-restraint. So yeah. One thing I've been putting more of a conscious effort in is my fashion sense. All throughout school and university, I basically only wore sweatpants and t-shirts. And after putting in a little bit more effort in how I look, I can safely say the clothes do make the man. So I've got a couple of pieces here that I thrifted recently, and I want to try making some outfits out of them. Because like most things in life, it's important to practice.
Don't you feel the times are coming? 'Cause I feel it so strong. I've been on hold on, baby. Don't you feel the times are coming? When it feels so right to dance in the moonlight, baby, with you.
Okay, this is the first outfit. I ended up just going up with a bunch of stripes. Striped jacket, striped shirt. Even my, I don't know if you can see, my pants are also striped. I'm not really digging it. It feels like a little bit too many stripes, but hey, that's why we experiment, so that we know what works, but more importantly, what doesn't work.
The more I think about it, this might not be the first time I've gone through this sort of thing. In fact, in my youth, I went through this every year. Summer vacation. The school year ends, you've got a few months of just fun, and you don't really think about the future. You just appreciate the present. Hanging out with friends, going to the beach, riding bikes or skateboarding to places. This period of waiting is like limbo. But limbo isn't a state of being, it's a thought. And summer vacation was never a transitional period in my life. It was its own unique event. So why should this summer be any different?